people out there who are being paid to provide us good information. It's our job to take that information here at the OC and make decisions to mitigate what's going to happen or what could potentially happen, and to warn you of what the potential impacts are to you. Okay? And that pretty much sums up what we do here. So we're done.
Let's go.
Okay? So you'll notice that there's, we call this the new wall. Okay? This wall here was built in 1992. This facility was built. Okay? And it's low tech, but it works because what happens if we lose power? Do these work? No, those don't work at all. But if I write something on my low tech wall, I've got it. Okay? The only problem is you got to constantly update these. It's not as easy to maintain. Oh, what's that? It's easy to maintain as the new wall. Okay. Of course, we had some damage here. People ripping cords out and stuff. So if my monitor doesn't work up here, we don't have that. Okay. Since this is a multi-agency port, yes.
How thick are the walls?
How thick are the walls? Very thick. No, that's an excellent question. Okay. Not standard thickness. No, this building has a very special purpose. This building is designed to keep me alive. Okay? So, this building is actually a nuclear fallout shelter. Nuclear fallout shelter. It's the only one on the Big Island. It's mine. Okay. But, to answer your question, what is the biggest danger in a nuclear blast?
The
gamma radiation. Yeah, the heat's going to get you and everything else, but the most dangerous thing is the gamma radiation. Gamma radiation can penetrate how far into concrete?
16
inches. You all were listening yesterday.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So, because maybe there's a stronger gamma ray, one that's been working out or something, our walls are 18 inches thick, reinforced concrete. Okay. That's the sidewalls, the roof, the floor, everything. Let me ask, well, why do we have a glass door? Gamma rays do not bend or refract like light rays do. Okay? So we can have a straight door. If the door gets blown out, the gamma rays bounce off the wall and go away. Don't come in with half-cuts. Yes. Shockwave. Yes, that's why we're 18 inches thick. Okay? Because the shockwave will blow everything down, right? So, like my little wooden structure of the home is gone. This building will still be here. There is not. Not that I'm aware of. There might be some secret plans and stuff that I'm not aware of. But no, this is it. This is a one-story building. This is the shelter. So as you see, in here during emergencies, we have seating for 42 people. Okay. However, if you've ever seen this room on TV, you'll notice there's a lot more than 42 people. You know, we got chairs on here. We're only rated when the fire department comes in. It's just right there. Fire department comes in. Fire department tells you how many people can be in the building, right? So they just kind of turn their back on it. Don't look at all the people sitting in here. We're only supposed to have 75 people. Okay. So, but we can fit people in because the walls are thick, so when they bulge out, they're holes. Okay. Okay. When we're doing the multi-hazard mitigation plan, we're providing all this information to you. Now, we're also required to maintain another plan here at Civil Defense. And that plan is the Emergency Operations Plan, or as we commonly refer to it as EOP. Emergency Operations Plan. Okay? Now, does your school have what we call an Emergency Readiness Plan?
Yes.
It does. Okay? Do y'all drill on that? Okay.
So this school, these guys are our virtual part of the school, so they are all over the island. We've got families from Waikoloa and Hilo and everywhere. But at campus, if you guys were ever at campus on one of the drill days, it's a very big process. in 5 minutes, they put on a timer. Everybody has to run down, get into a bus that's assigned to you, and be on the bus and out of the tsunami zone before the 5 minutes are up. And the fire department comes down and times us. And if we don't do it well, then, I don't know, they get embarrassed.
They tell you to practice.
Yeah.
Okay, and these drills are very important because a plan is just a worthless piece of paper unless, one, you read it for what it says, and two, you practice what you're supposed to do in the plan. Okay, otherwise, hey, we got a plan, we meet the requirements, we're good. No, you fail. And let's talk about my favorite meteorologist. You know who my favorite meteorologist of all time is? Have you ever heard of Edward Lorenz? What did Edward Lorenz do? You don't know? You've heard of him. You've heard of him. Okay, so why has she heard of Edward Lorenz? And why is he my favorite meteorologist? Have you ever heard of the butterfly effect?
No. Isn't it when like you
A hurricane happens in Tahiti. The butterfly's in Brazil, right? Okay, that's not exactly what happens, or that's not exactly his theory, but that's how he explained it. Okay, and the theory that evolved out of that, he was a meteorologist. He was running the weather model, and what he did is he ran the weather model. Got to the end of the day, decided he wanted to go home, so he turned the model off, went home, came back next day and said, okay, I've got these results here. I want to continue it out. So instead of starting back at the beginning, because he could just get where he was right now, he took some points from his data that he received, or the model spit out to him, and entered that as his new starting point. And he expected, he didn't put the last numbers in, he went back about the middle, put them in, and he expected to see the same graph initially. Okay. What happened was he got a completely different graph. Shocked him. Okay? And so he came up with chaos theory, and that's what we operate on in emergency management, chaos theory. And what they call that, and what we relate to you, is it's also known as sensitivity to initial conditions. Okay? And that's where all the mitigation comes in. That's where having a plan comes in. That's what getting prepared, having an emergency kit. Because if you set the conditions right in the beginning, the impact is not going to be the same as if you were just standing there. Oh, a hurricane's coming. Yeah, okay, well, whatever. Yeah. Okay, so that's why he's my favorite meteorologist, because he came up with the chaos theory, and the graph looks like a butterfly. That's why they actually call it the butterfly effect. Okay, but it's also known as chaos theory or sensitivity to initial conditions. That's what we base everything we do, emergency management, off, is the chaos theory. The more prepared we are, it starts with you. I love FEMA. Personal issue I have. But FEMA, who's responsible for the National Emergency, Federal Emergency Management System, they developed the National Incident Management System, which we operate under. Okay, they say the primary person in emergency response, it starts with who? Who? You. Exactly. Exactly. Okay, and that comes right down from chaos theory and sensitivity to initial conditions. Okay, we have unlimited resources on the Big Island as far as first responders. No, we don't. How many ambulances do we have?
4?
Only 2 in my man? I think there's only, well, there might be a back.
30
There's only 2 in Hilo.
ambulances?
Ambulances.
Wow.
There are a total of 15 ambulances on the Big Island. Those are active ambulances that are manned and operate on a daily basis. Now, like you said, Waimea, they have an extra one. That's an alpha. Okay. It's not manned all the time. It's used if their primary ambulance goes down, they bring the alpha model up, or if something big's happening, they bring the alpha model online and staff it. Okay? And how can they do that? What is every fireman trained to do? They're actually trained as paramedics. If you're going to be a fireman, you have to be paramedic qualified. Okay, so they can staff, well, 2 people staff an ambulance. How many firemen do we have? We have approximately 400 firemen. So we can staff 200 ambulances, even though we only have 15. Okay? Can't fight any fires if we do that. So it's all trade-off and balance. Okay, so we have a limited amount of resources. Okay, so if you're able to take care of yourself initially when something happens, those resources can be used to help people who either were impacted harder or aren't capable of taking care of themselves. Make sense? Yeah. We won't get into our gasoline substance.
Even though we import it from California or wherever. The government needs our money, man. Yeah, all tax money.
We don't want to talk about taxes either. Ultra sensitive items.
And
Okay.
the community only has 2 helicopters.
That's right. The county only has 2 helicopters. Okay. How many helicopters do we actually have access to on the county? I didn't tell you all this yesterday.
A lot.
How many helicopters are based out at the airfield?
20.
There's 8. Okay, 8 not UH, or CH, UH-60s, yeah, Blackhawks. There's 8 of them out there. Can we use those?
Yeah.
If we ask. Okay, if they're made available to us. Blue Hawaii, how many helicopters do they have? They're helicopter force.
Oh, that one? I must have like seen there.
They have a plethora of helicopters. Okay,
That's why.
that's why it's confusing. Now, when we're fighting forest fires, wildland fires, you think we use our helicopters? We do to an extent, but you know, a helicopter can only fly so long, a pilot can only be so many hours in the air. So we call up Blue Hawaii and say, hey, we need your helicopter to come drop some water on this fire. Awesome, we love doing that. And we go grab a helicopter and they start dropping water on the fire. And they give us a big bill. Yes, nothing in this world is free.
Air. And air, that's not free.
Possibly, but no, you end up paying for everything. Trust me.
Yeah.
From the government, I'm here to help, right?
Little sun acid.
Okay. Okay, now, what can impact us in food? Well, you're all over the island. What can impact us all over the island?
The lava flow.
Lava, tsunami.
Okay, does North Kahala have to worry about lava? No. Why? They actually claim North Kahala is extinct.
What? No, don't think it's extinct.
They say North Kahala is extinct. Okay. Is Mauna Kea extinct?
No.
No.
It's dormant.
It's dormant. Okay, and what happens? Mauna Kea hasn't erupted in about 8,000 years. Okay, who's been to Diamond Head?
Not too bad.
Okay, we've been to Diamond Head. We've seen that. Tsunami Bay. Been there snorkeling. Okay, those craters erupted approximately 100,000 years after the volcano on Hawaii, whichever name it is, I don't know, was dormant for a while. And those are violent, explosive eruptions, kind of like what you see in Krakatoa. You heard that guy? No. Krakatoa is a volcano in Indonesia. And when it blew up, what was that, 1881, I think?
So, yeah.
Somewhere in that time frame, it blew up. They heard that, okay, you know where Indonesia is, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you know where England is, right?
Yeah.
Okay, they heard that explosion in England. That's how loud it was. And it was an explosive eruption. Now, these eruptions have happened hundreds of thousands of years after the volcano says, I'm a little tired. Those are explosive in Hawaii. So, Hilo Field. But, since it's been 8,000 years, we still got about 92,000 years.
Woohoo!
Pangea? We'll talk about it in a minute. You got a question?
Didn't it spread after on the world?
Krakatoa?
Yeah.
Yes, yes, it did.
What's the volcano?
Huh?
What's the volcano?
Super volcano? We're talking about Yellowstone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My dad talked
The super volcano.
Super volcano. Okay, and in fact, it actually altered the weather for several years after that. There was so much ash in the atmosphere. Okay. And what's
There's a super volcano that exploded, and there is this chemical that went into the air and increased global.
yes, and I was Krakatoa. Okay,
It's
And they-
green.
okay, because I used to live in upstate New York. And if you've ever been there, you know the sun never shines there. So they have what they call the weekend that is summer. There's one weekend in the summer the sun actually shines. Everyone comes out, goes to the beach. They all look like fish bellies and stuff. They're so white. They haven't seen the
Fish
sun.
bellies.
Okay, and it's the weekend that was summer. That's what it was like back then, with all that ash in the air blocking the sun. So if you ever want to see what it's like if the super volcano goes off, go up upstate New York, Watertown, and look at all the fish bellies.